Yo boys, back with another video. Today we're going to be doing the good old-fashioned Assassination on Rogue and playing a really good comp. If you were wondering what comp to play with a Assassination Rogue, obviously Affliction Warlock Assassination Rogue is probably going to be your best bet. The other comp that you can play is SP Assassination Rogue. I'd say those two are by far the best that you can play, SP or a Affy Lock. Maybe a Frost Mage as well. Those three can be really good. I'd say the best though is Affy and SP. You're pretty much just Pving. Your priest can set up with, stun, silence, or stun, fear, silence, whatever, on the healer pretty much. And if you're good enough, you can actually set up your goes pretty much off DR, and you can get actually pretty good damage out. But yeah, that's pretty much that. But as you can see, we're kind of just triple bleeding, and I'm not really that geared on my rogue yet. I'm still switching out my gear. Have to make a lot of gear. Have to rearrange a lot of my gear. But once I do get max gear and the raid trinket that I need, we're gonna be doing unhealable damage more than we're already doing. But yeah, pretty much you're just double bleeding with this comp. Trying to triple bleed, but just don't go out of your way to do it. If the priest is by you, go for it. But otherwise, just go for max dam, and that's pretty much all you're doing the entire game. So as you can see, we're kind of just stunning off DR, stunning the healer. Anytime you have Shadow Dance, all you want to do is kidney shot the healer. So instead of cheap shotting him, we're just going to kidney shot him. That we get more CC, and since we have Shadow Dance up, we can just cheap shot the DPSs. So here we're probably going to cloak. Yep, cloaked. Usually here you want to be running the immunity cloak. That way if he vendettas you or, death marks you or anything, you can kind of just cloak all the hots off and everything. It does suck that you're kind of energy starved, like a lot, as Assassination Rogue. But you're getting really good damage. This guy almost ended up one-shotting himself with MD, so that's nice. And pretty much, the game's pretty much one. And the H-Pile that we're playing with literally has, like, terrible gear on. So if he actually had gear, these games would have just been free. I mean, they were already pretty free. The only ones that we lost at, like, pretty high-rated games. I think we only lost, like, two, and they were just stupid ones. But overall, good games. Just trying to get my cap. I think I got a good amount done for today. Got my dailies done on Cataclysm, so good old-fashioned. And this guy literally just dies behind a pillar. I think the lock literally just kills him with his hots. Yeah, he literally dies. He was behind a pillar and he died. With my bleed and the Lux bleeds on him, he just gets taken down. So pretty much here it's going to be SPDH, so we're pretty much going to main SP since it's the one caster. I accidentally, for some reason, my tab targeting has been tabbing really weird. Usually it doesn't go on the same person twice, but lately it has been, and it's made me like automatically start doing a lot of things that like I want to target a certain person, and for some reason it just doesn't target the person that I'm staring at, and it's aggravating, but it's whatever. So here we blind. He breaks the blind, unfortunately, but whatevs. So at this point we're trying to get our bleeds up, and that's pretty much it. We get our burst off here. I was going to smoke bomb immediately, but I was going to wait for the DR, but at this point I just do it on the darkness. That way he's not getting any benefit, so he has to run out of the bomb. So here we're just going to swap to the DH. You're pretty much just trying to hit whoever you're at lock and hit. Your main goal is kind of just dampening people, and eventually they're just not going to be able to do it. You're just doing as much damage as possible on every target. It's not really about killing somebody super fast. It's just doing unhealable damage to everybody. And that's pretty much that. Usually you want to play with a Restator with this comp. That's like the best that you can play, because Restator is really damp. And yeah, it's probably your best bet. Maybe a Mistweaver, but I'd say Restator is probably better. It's just overall just you're getting really good off heals. They're able to drink whenever they want. Overall really good, and it's meant for dampening. So usually you're never going to be able to gouge with this comp, but in situations like this, you're able to, because unless the priest is right on top of you, there's no point of going out of your way to bleed him, unless you're going to swap him. And as you can see here, we kind of just almost killed him. I could have vanished cheap shot the DH here, and we probably would have won the game, but I didn't think he was going to die there, because he still has let me see. No, he actually, yeah, he probably would have died there, to be honest. I should have done it, but I don't know why I didn't do it. Maybe I just was saving it. So here I'm trying to go for a read, but I had that little tiny void tentacle on me, so I had to wait. So here, if I can get a reset, is really good, because then I'm getting multi-growths, even if it's only for a second. So here I try to get there. I went the wrong way, so that's unfortunate. But I still get the triple, so it's super good. It's a lot of damage right there. Trying to get those triple growths is insane, because you're getting a lot of pressure off that. We can need the healer, and as you can see, everything is just rotting. And again, we're not even playing the best variation of this comp, and I don't even have gear. He doesn't even have gear. I'm still rearranging my stuff. So once we get best in slot, we're gonna just be farming everything. Um, but yeah, that's the goal. And we end up taking him out there. Pretty much, there's no way he was healing through that. That was my death mark. That was my Kingsbane, and that was full hots and full bleeds. You're not living, especially when everybody's taking unhealable damage. Like if you look at the damage, the DH just like yeah no. We literally just controlled the entire game. So here he flares right on top of his H-Pow right the second I get there. I was very unlucky. So here we swap. I blind the H-Pow. So we start on this guy. We're going to bleed him. Then we're going to swap. Again, you're going to want to hit whoever you're attacking. Don't go out of your way to just run after somebody if the lock can't hit him. Obviously, your main goal is trying to triple bleed if you can. So as you can see here, we're not sitting on one separate target. This guy ends up bubbling, I'm pretty sure, in the opener. Yeah, it literally bubbles in the opener. So at this point, I death mark. It was a good death mark because I did it on the H pile, but he was in LOS, so my lock couldn't hit him. If my lock was in range of this guy, it would have been good. So here I re-bleed this guy. I'm probably gonna kidney him soon. So here I kidney shot. I vanish to get the growths off. Double cheap shot. Here I Kingsbane. So here we're getting a lot of bleeds off, but my lock's not pushing up. See, in this situation, we need to be pushing on top of them. This is big CDs here, and we can easily get hots and bleeds on every target as long as we just push up. I think there he kind of played too much like he was playing with a caster. You can play dampener, but you also when you're playing with a melee, you have to push up. You can't play like with your caster because I have to be able to play. Otherwise, we're just not going to be able to do anything. So like here, we should be on top of them right now. They're all three in the same spot, and it's really good if we're just on top of them. That's all we have to do. Just be on top of them, bleeding everything, fearing stuff, bait them. That's it. But he's kind of playing really far back, so it'd be like that. I haven't even played my rogue since like week 2 or 3 of the season. So this is like my first real games, which went pretty okay. I mean, they weren't even real games. They were just LFG, but I know Pellet. Overall, they played good though. So here we swap to the H-Pal because for some reason he's just standing there. Here he DR fears the healer, or actually no, he gets full fear. I kill the Siphene immediately because that's gonna, be really bad for us. And pretty much you're just multi-bleeding when you can, and you're just bleeding everything. That's pretty much it. As you can see, it's not very hard. This comp's not a hard, it's kind of like Boomy Ellie. You're kind of just, or not Boomy Ellie, DHL. You're kind of just hitting whoever you can and just doing the damage to whatever's out. And eventually you're just going to the other person because your Warlock's literally going to be doing triple everyone's damage because that's what a Warlock does. And you'd think the game would be over a lot quicker, to be honest, considering the damage. But yeah, their healer's actually playing okay healing-wise. And his positioning isn't that bad either. But at this point, that guy's almost zoomed. Our healer's almost zoomed too. He's at like 40%. But by the time this guy ooms, it's already going to be over. Because he's going to first, and, that's going to be that. Even though my guy's in greens, and they're probably best in slot. It'd be like that, though. So here we just multi-growth. This is where we should be pushing in again. Instead of staying back in mid, we should be up in their face. Right now, pushing them for fears, and just doing big UIs on everything. Multi-bleeding. Now, if you're playing with double caster, one can go left and one can go right, and you can still stay back and hit them. But as a melee, I have to be up in their face, so you have to push up with your melee. If you just think you're going to stay back and sit 100 yards from everybody, you can't really do that unless they're in the open, which is usually the case. But in here, they're actually playing pretty solidly. They're playing, like, on the pillar. So, they're doing really good. And my lock's not really... See, like, right now, he's doing good right now. This is where we should just push all together. If they're all three on the same side, we can easily push in. So this guy's drinking, so here I'm going to push back a little bit. No point in pushing him when he's drinking. Here I kidney shot. We need to win the game. Everybody's right now. I can probably blind the healer in a second. Getting up my bleeds here. We're probably going to blind the healer, so blind the healer now. He's going to trinket immediately. I can run up to him and gouge, but I think I'm just going to focus on damage here. So here I smoke bomb late so he can't get the heal, and we end up taking him out. Close game, actually, considering the comp that they're playing. I don't even know BMSP's good, but overall, you know, it's not as good as our comp, so. Rhett Windwalker, these guys actually played pretty okay. I think their comp's not even that good, to be honest. Windwalker with Rhett's probably pretty trash. But they actually did pretty good, to be honest. So here we start out with double Garrote, trying to get double Ruptures out so we can start. I'm running a build where when I come out of stealth, when I Garrote, it goes automatically on everybody that's close. So if they're all three stacking, all my bleeds are going on all three targets at one time. So your main goal is trying to stack everybody up, hit whoever's stacked, and that's mainly the main goal. So here we Kenny here, we bomb. So here we actually get Trinket for free, pretty much. Even though I still have my Death Mark, so I'm probably going to Death Mark the Ret to get his bubble. So here, Death Mark, use my AoE bleeds, Shiv, putting Kingsbane out. At this point, we're going to double bleed. There's no point in hitting the Ret right now. We double kick the healer. I'm going to swap him, bleed him as well since they're all stacked. At this point, we're just going to re-bleed the Ret and just keep doing damage, and that's pretty much it. Using our AoE blades, because that does a lot of damage, surprisingly, when they're all stacked together. So you want to, anytime there's two people on a target, you need to be using those blades. The red blades on my Shift F keybind on the right side by my trinket. That's just insanely good to use. Obviously, it's going to break CC if you're trying to blind and stuff, but overall, it's just really good damage to have. It's a lot of extra bleed damage. So here we're just double bleeding, getting ready to stun something. So when you can't stun something, you're just spending your points on Venoms and just re-bleeding everybody. So we're probably going to swap to the healer, make sure. The main goal is to try to not let him drink, because they're going to look for that situation all the time. Obviously, don't go way too far. Don't go way out of your way to get it, because your healer is usually going to get it, or your warlock's going to port get him. But here I see a good swap opportunity, because this guy's at 50%. He's off DR. He ends up running away, so I'm just going to blind him here. So here my lock's just soloing this guy, so he has to come back. I blind him here. He trinkets. Perfect. So that's a perfect. See, he ran away from his teammates, so we ended up getting Bubble and Trinket on the same GCD, which is really good. So here we rebleed the Ret. At this point, we're just going to rebleed the Windwalker. If the Priest is close by, rebleed him. DR cheap shot, so we can just start. Even if it's a DR cheap shot, it's actually good, because it gives my chance of my lock cats and UIs. That's the main goal. You could DR every Kenny, and you're still going to win games. Mainly because it's not about stuns at the same time in threes. In this situation, all we need to do is be triple bleeding, and we win the game pretty much automatically. As long as we just utilize whatever our CDs, we're gonna win the game. Obviously, my HP again is under geared. I don't even think he has set. He might have set. I don't know now, but yeah, he's really under geared. So his healing's not gonna be the greatest. He's actually doing really good healing regardless. But here I again a DR Kinney, but gives enough time for my guy to cast a UI, which is exactly what we want. Again, getting those DR stuns off, even if it's DR'd, anytime the healer's out of LOS, obviously you want to try to get a non-DR, but look at the healer. He's literally dying behind a pillar. He had to Guardian himself because my guy got bleeds on him, and that's how easy it is to kill something. All you need to do, even if it's DR'd, you gotta look, as long as your lock's good and he knows how to bleed the healer, that's how you're gonna win games. As you can see, literally the healer's 50%, the Red's 10%, the Windwalker's 40%. Just having hots on people and bleeds on people, best thing that you can do. So again, my HPOW DR Hodges the Red perfectly fine. Again, DRs are not bad. Obviously, you want to try to get them non-DR'd, but here, as you can see, the healer's already oomed. And that's an H priest, so you know he's been doing a lot of healing. So at this point, the game's pretty much over for them. We just kidney shot, we bomb late. At this point, we kind of just do damage and aggressively evasion, because at this point, any damage is good damage. Here we blind, so we're getting about 5 seconds worth of just pure bleed damage on everybody, and that's pretty much that. So again, we're just doing big bleeds, and that's pretty much it. But here I'm pretty sure the Windwalker actually lives, surprisingly. So we kidney shot, full kidney shot, win the game. It's over at this point. You just can't do anything. So again, a blowout game. if we were playing like if you were playing a Wrestle Druid, it wouldn't even be close. These games would have just been blown out. A Wrestle Druid would usually be able to, especially how they never swap to the H-Bow, and versus H-Bows and Wrestle Druids, you need to be swapping to the H-Bow. Same thing with Wrestle Druids, because you can easily get bubble, and all they would have to do is go the H-Bow every Hodge, and at that point, you're able to just simply get CDs. That's the good thing about H-Bows. You're able to get CDs from them pretty easily, depending on your comp, and depending on how if you swap at the right time. So here we're bleeding everything. We're not going to push behind a pillar right now. My lock's playing super far back. So at this point, we're just going to bleed everything up. Probably kidney shot the Mistweaver here. You want to go healers with this comp as much as you can. But, you know, you just want to do what you want to do. As long as you're getting triple bleeds, you're good to go. Triple bleed, kidney off DR when you can. Obviously, if a healer is just sitting out of a LOS and you're playing with really anything, you could always just go healer. Going healer is not bad. The only healers that don't you die is, in this situation, a Mistweaver will usually never die because of the poor stun, and since it's on such a short CD, you're really never going to kill a Mistweaver until he's but it's still good to bleed him because it's going to make him do more healing, and eventually he's going to run out of CDs to where, okay, he's going to eventually die. But this was a close game, and again, you usually want to be playing with a Wrestler with this comp just because you're gonna have overall a ton of healing, and it's just a lot better. They're just able to freely drink. They never so you're pretty much just getting a never-ending. You're already playing a dampener comp, but on top of that, you're playing with a dampener healer. H-File is not necessarily a dampener healer. It runs out of mana really quick, and it's not able to just go for a drink all of a sudden. They have to keep up their healing. They have to keep up their tier of deliverance. If they mess up one thing, it's going to be a rough time for you, especially when you're playing versus players that know how to stop drinks. But at this point, we're going to trinket the stun because I'm not going to sit a stun way back here. It's a bad position for me to be in because if they swap me, I'm going to be. It's because I don't want the Loxes to be able to do whatever. And on top of that, I want to get my hots off. I call them hots as I bleed sometimes, by the way, so if you're wondering why I'm saying hots. But as you can see, it feels like nothing's taking damage, but this guy's actually spending a lot of healing, and here he dispels, so after the precog, we're just going to blind him. And again, that blind just helps us so much, mainly because, obviously, just any type of damage is really good. The fact that this guy is not... He needs to be spamming healing 24/7 just to keep people up, because that's what Affylocks do, is once they get UIs on everybody, they just do unhealable damage. Mistweaver does counter Affylock because of revival, but even with that, this guy's almost already. So the our H-Bow's at 40 to 50%. This guy's already at 20, or no, he's probably at 10%, maybe 15. So he's gonna before the other guy. So as long as we just have hots on him, we win the game pretty much. So at this point, he's gonna try to go for a drink. So you just gotta watch out for the drink. Otherwise, you're just doing big damn, and that's pretty much that. So here we're gonna bleed the Mistweaver because we never want him to drink. So at this point the game's pretty much over for them. As long as we just use one of our 30 CDs, the game's pretty much over. So here I Vanish Cheap Shot. We're gonna grow all targets that we can. It's gonna double grow since I'm running that build. I had the build linked in the description, but here we pretty much just full PvE him and taking him out. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, peace.